Hi, and thank you for coming. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have been bullied before? Okay, and how many of you have been a bully before? Well, 500 years ago, the term bully meant friend. The definition now from Wikipedia is the noun is a person who uses strength or power to harm or intimidate those who are weaker. The verb is to use superior strength or influence to intimidate someone, typically to force him or her to do whatever one wants. We're going to talk about the different types of bullying. Bullying has types. The first type is the physical type, the physical bullying that is hitting, kicking, pushing, stealing or hiding someone's belongings or damaging them. There's also verbal bullying, which includes name-calling, teasing, or insulting. Relationship bullying are people who talk about other people, spreading rumors or lies, and refusing to talk to someone because they want to prove a point. It also includes threats or forced involvement in activities that are unwanted by the person that's being forced. Bullies have targets. A lot of times these targets are people that stand out. They're usually kids in their grade or their school that are being targeted for their differences, and these differences kids tend to latch onto to pick on these other kids. One would be physical differences. So if a person is small stature or a large stature, that someone is either a lot smaller or a lot taller or heavier than the average student in their grade or their class, and they tend to get picked on. Or their disabilities. Maybe they have a physical disability, or they talk different, or something like that. Personality differences are another target. A person is, the child is easily anxious for some reason or another, or has a small number of friends, and may have low confidence levels, so they may be intimidated easily by these other kids that hold this power, this influence with other kids. Another influence for these targets would be social class. The minorities tend to stick out in a lot of these targets. Categories of friends, which mean they're social groups, so they're different cliques in their schools. They may be targeted because of that specific group that they're in, and because of their financial status. So maybe they may be able to afford to do some things that other kids are doing or not doing, or dressing the way some of the other kids would like to dress, or wearing the same styles and things. Some people can afford that and some people can't. And kids seem to not understand it. These bullies just tend to target these kids for these differences. The solutions is what's important here. The main thing is that in 2007, Texas has passed some new laws that come into effect for 2012 and 2013. They include counseling and protection for bullying victims and bullies. These things protect them, the kids who are reporting the crime of being bullied, and also giving them counseling and help, protection for their being reported that way. They don't have to feel threatened by the fact that they're reporting this action, so that it won't cause them even more bullying and more torment. Another thing is intervention and prevention. It includes the removal of the threat. So they are actually removing the child who's doing all the bullying and putting them somewhere else within the district so they can still keep their education yet leave that child or that group or those children alone. And then finally, Asher's Law has been passed, and I don't know how many of you know, but Asher Brown was a 13-year-old 8th grader in Sci-Fair, and in 2010, in September 2010, he shot himself to death for being bullied to death. He had several differences that he got picked on at all the time, which was because he was a smaller stature. He was had a different religious belief than the typical average student, apparently, and the way he dressed, he got picked on for that also. So these are things that all fit into the categories that we spoke about earlier. And unfortunately, this law has been passed, and it protects these kids from this. So if anybody has any questions, thank you for coming.